Hi, thanks so much for joining me on the Everything and Anything and a Bit Gay podcast. Today, I am kicking off summer. We're talking about some destinations that I've been to that are gay destinations over the course of, I don't know, the last 25 years. I'm going to start off and talk a little bit about Provincetown, which is probably my favorite destination to go to for not just a gay getaway, but just vacation overall. My first time I went to Provincetown was 2001, actually a week or so before 9/11 happened. I went with my friend Tony and another couple and my husband Andrew, and we went and we had an amazing time. We fell in love with Provincetown right away. It is at the end of Cape Cod. I was living in New York at the time, so we drove there. We rented a car, I guess, and drove there, and it was just so amazing. You can also get to Provincetown by going into Boston and taking a fast ferry, and it's about a 90-minute ferry ride. And I'll say it's very fun to do that, but do not do it if you've gone out the night before in Boston and had too much to drink, because I learned that the hard way, that you will be in the only bathroom on the boat, throwing up the whole time, having people knock on the door yelling at you. So be sure not to drink too much before you take the fast ferry because water can't get choppy. But Provincetown is really a unique, amazing place. It is so gay friendly. The whole town is so unique. I've never experienced anything like it. There is no big box stores. There are no like big chain stores like that at all. It's all very kind of small, privately owned, like boutiques or stores. And you're not going to see Lululemon or Banana Republic or anything like that. They have a CVS in town, which is probably one of the first kind of like commercial type stores that have made it there. But there's really no restaurants. You're not going to see McDonald's anywhere near Provincetown. You're not going to see any fast food like that. It's all locally owned type of restaurants and stores. The food in Provincetown is amazing. So there are so many places that whenever I go, I have to try to like check them all off the list, and I don't always have enough nights to go to all the great food that they have there. But we end up somehow making the most of the foods. We start with our favorites and kind of work our way down the list. It's very unique where you can kind of there's something to do all day long. If you're into going to the beach, they have a beach that is in Provincetown. I am not a beach person. I am also not into doing the trek through the swampy water over the sand dunes and then taking a left and or make walking another 2 miles with all of your chairs and stuff. I'm not into the beach at all. I grew up in Miami and never really liked the beach. But if you're into the beach, it is a nude beach. You can go there. All of my friends have gone there. I've gone a few times. It's just really not for me. Um, but it is an amazing beach and it's beautiful. Water is not Miami temperature though. It is the New England, and the water is cold even in the summer. At least from what I'm used to growing up in Miami, where the water is pretty warm all year long. Um, Provincetown has millions of things to do in the day where you can go rent a bike for a day, or if you're staying for the week, you can rent it for the whole week. You can go take a ride out to they have a whole paved area now through the sand dunes, which is not an easy trek because there's some major hills. And we discovered that we probably needed to get electric bikes to get up some of these hills. One of our friends, we thought we were going to have a heart attack this past summer because he was as well as I thought I could have had a heart attack as well. But there was that's a hard trek, but we ended up making it, and it's beautiful going through the sand dunes on bikes, and you can also rent. They have Jeep tours that will take you through the sand dunes in a Jeep that not that you're driving, but somebody is driving you. We have never done that, but it looked really kind of fun to do. There are plenty of stores to shop at. There is a kind of pull culture that's also there. So if you're staying at like the Brass Key, which we've done many times, Brass Key is a phenomenal bed and breakfast that's kind of in the center of town. And they have a really great pool there. And you can sit around the pool all day, and that can literally be your day. Just have you have breakfast in the morning there, you get served drinks all day by the pool. You end up knowing everybody that's staying there through the week, and the great thing is that every year people book almost the same week every year. So when you go back the following year, if you're staying at the Brasky again, you end up seeing the same people. So you end up becoming friends with these people. So it's kind of unique in that way. Then in the afternoon, there after you take a nap, which I did every single day in Provincetown, you end up going to tea dance. I think tea dance starts about 4 or 4:30 and goes until about 7. So it's pre-dinner. It's at the boat slip. I went every year since 2001, the first time I went, and you end up always going to the boat slip to go to tea dance. Depending on what time of year it is, it can be super crowded, but it's all outside, mostly around a pool. You're right on the water on this deck. It's right above where the quote unquote dick docks are. The dick docks are underneath. That's a whole other thing you can look up online. But it's if you're into that, you should. If you're into hooking up in public places, go check out the dick docks. I'll leave it there. But there's a little dancing space inside where they have different theme nights. Some nights it's disco nights, some nights it's like 80s music. So Boat Slip has a different kind of theme every night, and it's really fun. I mean, you if you have friends that have been to Provincetown, most likely you've seen them on Instagram taking pictures with the ocean in the background, and they're standing on the boardwalk where the tea dance takes place. After tea dance, you usually end up going to dinner. There's so many amazing restaurants. The Muse has amazing food. The Red Inn has amazing food. I mean, I really don't think there's many places in Provincetown that have not good food. They're just we have such a challenge getting through all the restaurants that we love when we go there because there's so many great places to eat. And then usually after dinner, you end up going to a bar. There's lots of gay bars, obviously. There's the A House, which is a club. It has an outside area in the back, and so if you want to dance inside, you it's kind of a low vaulted ceiling, and then outside is kind of open air and space and outside, and you can everybody's kind of hanging out there. But that probably doesn't get going until 10:30, 11. And the other thing about that's great about P Town, which I think is everything closes at 1 o'clock. Last call's 12:45, 1 o'clock, they are done serving, which is really amazing because this way you can wake up the next day, maybe not be as hungover, and you can get out and do something because you got home early. You didn't get home at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. You got home at 1 o'clock or 1:30. So it just makes the vacation a little bit better. So when we were the first time we went to P Town, we were living in New York and we were used to uh, going out to a bar or a club until 4 a.m. And then whenever we found out the first time we went there that thing closed at 1, we were just shocked and didn't understand it. But we were also in our 20s and needed to have a later thing. But now that I'm a little older, I'm happy to have. I think 1 o'clock is probably past my bedtime in some aspects. But Provincetown is so amazing. There's also a lot of great theme weeks that they have. One year we went to Provincetown with a group of friends, and we ended up accidentally going during Bear Week. So Bear Week is the opposite of who I am. I was very disappointed for the first day because I was looking forward to seeing hot guys, and I'm not necessarily attracted to bears. However, Bear Week was the most fun week I think we've ever had going to Provincetown. The bears were so fun. They wanted to party. They were so nice and gracious to us, and we ended up meeting this other group of, like, 6 or 7 guys that were also from New York City, or most of them were, and they stumbled upon Bear Week by accident too, and we ended up meeting them. We're still friends with them on Facebook, and we all, including them, ended up going back a few years later during Bear Week because we had so much fun. You also just need to check the calendar of events. There's a calendar online that talks about the different themes. So there's a carnival that Provincetown has every August, and I have to say that carnival is super, super crowded. So if unless you're like looking if you're I like going to Provincetown where it's a little less crowded, where it's quiet during the week, You can get a reservation much easier, and then you have the weekend come and everybody is, in town. You have new people that come into town over the weekend, and that's what I like. Carnival is the opposite of that, where it's packed all week. There's lots of events happening the whole entire week, and everything is super overcrowded. It's hard to get a reservation. It's just not what I look for in P Town. There's a theme every year for Carnival. If you're into that type of thing, you should definitely check out Carnival. They have other things. They have Family Week, where if you are a gay family, you can bring your kids with you to Provincetown. They also have other weekends like Baby Dyke Week. They have Women's Week. They have you just look. There's multiple different types of theme weeks that Provincetown has, and definitely check it out. 4th of July is I've gone a couple of times for 4th of July. I think it's super overcrowded, and there's, like, a circuit party that's happening there. Probably wouldn't do 4th of July in Provincetown again just because there were so many baby strollers and so many people were coming out to see the fireworks, and just wasn't for me, but it is an interesting time to go. Um, the other great thing about Provincetown is that you end up meeting so many people that you end up seeing if you're staying a week, because usually you stay Saturday to Saturday, that's what the Airbnb situation is, or usually what people are able to rent for a bed and breakfast. And you end up seeing the same people out at the bars, and you end up becoming friendly with them. Or if they're staying at your bed and breakfast, you end up forming a relationship with them. And you end up seeing the same people every year because you end up rebooking your trip the next year at the same time. So it's really nice to be able to, like, know that you're going. So we would stay at the Brass Key before we started going to Airbnbs, and every year we ended up seeing the same people because they would rebook before they would leave that year for the following year. And it's really nice to know, like, "Oh, I'm gonna see so and so this year," or if they don't show up, you're like, "What happened? Where did they go?" So it's really nice to kind of have that kind of familiarness. Stop that and do that. It's really nice to have somebody familiar every year, or a group of people that you go with, that you'll see the following year. I will say that I have gone with up to, like, 12 or so friends. Um, this last summer, I went with 9 of us. There were 9 of us total. We went for New Year's also, which is fun to go. It's only my 3rd time going to Provincetown for New Year's. There were 9 of us also, and I have to say 9 people is probably too many people to go. It's hard to get a reservation in restaurants. It's hard to try to be the, organizer, which is who I ended up being for, a lot of these, um, trips that we do. So I plan the dinners, I'm planning the activities and stuff, and it's really hard sometimes to get reservations for that many people. And then nobody complained about the food because the food's always good, but, you also just wanna make sure that what we're going to, somebody's not like, "Oh, we just had seafood 2 nights in a row, I don't want that again." So I don't know, I think a good amount of people to go is to go with you and your partner if you have one, and, you know, 3 to 4 other friends. I think it's a perfect amount of people. So 6 people total, in my opinion, is a perfect amount of people to go to P-Town with. The P-Town is amazing. If you haven't gone, it's the end of Cape Cod. You should definitely check it out. It's definitely more of a, summer destination, but, again, we've gone. Halloween is actually a really one of their biggest, times of year now. It's called Spooky Bear, and they, have more business during Halloween, they said, than any other week and than in the summer. So check it out if you're into that. Another kind of fun gay destination is Rehoboth Beach. Completely different vibe than Provincetown. Rehoboth Beach is on the East Coast, down in Delaware, um, gay friendly, but there's a boardwalk there, just a different vibe than Provincetown. I like Rehoboth Beach. I've been a couple of times. Not anywhere that I, like, would plan on going again unless I was, like, going to DC or going to Philly or something, but Rehoboth Beach is, if you haven't gone, you should definitely check it out. It's a great kind of gay destination that has been a little taken over by, quote, unquote, "the straight people." Another fun place that's a gay destination is Ogunquit. So this is in Maine. You could, actually do a long weekend. I think that's all you need for Ogunquit, and Perkins Cove is the little town that's walkable from Algonquin. Good food there, a couple of gay bars, kinda chill right on a beautiful seaside cliff that you can walk around. Really beautiful little town. There's probably enough to do maybe for 2 days if you're just looking to shop and just walk through the path along the cliffside. And after that, I think you probably used up your time, but you could do a, Portland vacation slash Algonquin vacation and do that for a long weekend. I think that would be amazing. That may be something actually I'll do this summer. And then my last, gay destination that I will tell you that I went to that I thought was really nice is, a couple of years ago, me and, 4 friends and my husband went to Palm Springs. And so Palm Springs was really amazing. It's in the West Coast, south of LA, in the desert. I think we flew into LA, rented a car, and then drove down to Palm Springs. So kind of like a downtown, it's like a shopping area. It's definitely like a little downtown with sidewalks and stuff. It doesn't feel like you're secluded the way that you do feel like you're secluded in Provincetown or even Algonquin. This feels a little more mainstream. Um, Lots of drag shows, lots of restaurants, lots of kind of gay bars. We went to a drag bunch brunch one late morning, all of us as a group, and let's just say we didn't love it, and we may have politely walked out one at a time, and because the food and the performances weren't amazing. But we all had a great time, together on vacation together. We left Palm Springs for 1 day and went out and seen this big dinosaur in the desert, this that was, I think, in Pee Wee Herman, and we explored that, and we just I think there's lots of fun things to do and to experience Palm Springs. I would say I would not go in the summer because I think it's way, way, way too hot. Palm Springs is meant, I believe, more for the winter where you're escaping the winter somewhere else and going down to Palm Springs. Big pool culture in Palm Springs, so if you're looking to go and just kinda sit around the pool, do a little shopping, go to dinner, maybe go have a drink afterwards, Palm Springs, I think, is definitely for you. Last thing I'll say is that all of these places are really amazing, but us gays like to spend money, and so everything is pretty expensive. So Provincetown is very expensive. We went for 2 weeks this past, summer, and we got an Airbnb, and I think we probably ended up spending $6 to $7,000 a week on an Airbnb. So it's expensive to stay there. Brass Key, probably average when we stayed there last was $800 to $900 a night. You get a nice room, you get breakfast, you get a wine and cheese, you got the pool. It's Shipwreck Lounge is part of where the Brass Key is. It's an amazing place to stay. I love Brass Key, but no, if you're going, you're gonna spend some money to stay at these places. I think, Rehoboth Beach is probably the cheaper option out of all of them. Gunkwit is probably the next cheapest, but Palm Springs and P-Town definitely being the most expensive. I If you have not experienced P-Town, out of all 4 of the places that I mentioned today, I really, really would suggest P-Town. You have to experience it. It's such a amazing culture. They have such amazing shows. There's drag shows all week. There's this really great show they have on Monday nights called Showgirls. A guy named Ryan Landry has been doing it for a very long 25 years or more. I know he's looking for a space to do it again this summer, but basically what he does is he puts on this show where everybody that's doing the drag queens or whoever whatever shows are happening in town, they come and give you a small preview of their show. That way you can go and buy tickets, for one of the shows. They also have people coming up doing talent shows, and they give a prize at the end. So some talent shows are better than others. And Some people have talent and some people are just getting up on stage for the attention, but it is so much fun. So I really hope Ryan finds a space to do the show because it's something that I always look forward to going to. Anyway, that's my advice. Check out P Town, check out Rehoboth, check out Ogunquit, check out Palm Springs. Hope you have a great summer. If you end up going to one of these places, please send me an email, Zach at everythingandanythingpodcast.com. And I would love to see pictures of your vacation and just let me know how, if you took any of my advice. And be sure to follow me on your favorite podcast platform. Thanks so much. Talk to you next week.